वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट ओरिएंटेशन टू पीडीपी। पहले तो ये वर्ड पीडीपी समझते हैं, और ये पीडीपी क्यों बोल रहे हैं लोग, पूरी दुनिया उसको जीडीपीआई वैट पीआई वैट बोल रही है, हम लोग उसको पीडीपी बोलते हैं। एंड उसका रीजन से शुरू करता हूं मैं। ओके, सो सीएल बाय द वे स्टार्टेड not with quant verbal DILR. Way back in 95, 96, we started with a PDP program. And within 6 months, then we went on to the aptitude part of the test. Why is that? पहले तो एक बात समझते हैं, ये कैट जैट स्नैप एनमैट आईएफटी और ब्ला 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 ब्ला, ये सारे जो एग्जाम्स हैं, व्हाट आर दीज एग्जाम्स? दीज आर नॉट सिलेक्शन एग्जाम्स फॉर सिलेक्शन। मैं ये बार बार बोला हूं, हर साल बोला हूं, दैट दीज आर रिजेक्शन टेस्ट्स। और इफ यू डोंट लाइक द वर्ड रिजेक्शन, क्योंकि बिलीव मी और नॉट, अप्रैल तक आप लोग ये वर्ड रिजेक्शन से यूज टू हो जाओगे, और तब याद करना मुझे। बट and sorry for the scary thing, but people who are repeating know what I'm saying, right? Rejection is a part of life. Cat ne kam percentile diya is a rejection. Okay, let's take it that way. And why am I saying this? I am saying this because the selection is not so. Out of 3 lakh students, if I am Ahmedabad, or I am FMS, or I am someone, I am not going to interview or do a GD of 3 lakh students or 2.5 lakh students. I'm not going to do that. I need to reduce that number to 2,000 or 3,000. And then I can do the process of interviews or whatever shit that I want to do. Right? So let's understand that CAT was used as a screen. Agar rejection word process, it is the same thing. Screening is nothing but rejection. You are removing some people, some lakhs of people. Right? So screening process hai. That is not the main thing. PDP is the one which is a selection process. GD-PI-WAT, extempore, case discussion, group exercise, group interviews, all of those things that happen in the colleges are the selection process. But उस selection process तक पहुंचने के लिए उस screening process को clear करना पड़ेगा. So this is the game, which means that even if you are 100% Tyler, there is a good chance you will not make it to A, B, and C if you are not prepared for your GD-PI-WAT process. Okay, so understand this. Now coming back to the discussion on PDP. So हमने शुरू किया था 1995 में PDP, and that is what we are best at. I can very easily claim that country में अगर कोई best PDP program है तो हमारा है. In fact, if you go to some of you have gone through it, and tell me if you've gone through it, your PDP zone in your क्या बोलते हैं, in your my zone, right? If you've gone through it, you would know that we start with a personality indicator test, right? The big 5 PE loco test, right? And so on and so forth. It's a very scientific process defined, and that is what I'm going to take you through also in the second part of the session today. So why PDP? अब पीडीपी जो वर्ड है, पर्सनालिटी डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम बोलते हैं उसको, हम क्या डेवलप कर रहे हैं वो भी आपको समझा देता हूं, ठीक है? What does this GD-PI-WAT process or PDP process actually test? It tests your knowledge, it tests your communication, it tests your attitude and behavior through your body language, through your speech, and through your knowledge. It tests your academic background in some way also, which is also a reflection of your attitude or knowledge or communication or whatever, right? So ये सारी चीजें मिला के टेस्ट किया जाता है कि कैंडिडेट में कितना पानी है. That is what it is about. Okay, so hence your personality makes a big part of this process. And personality, when we say when I say कि यार अंकुश here, अंकुश की personality अच्छी है, what does this personality mean? It means everything about Ankush, right? Almost everything about Ankush is good. So that is what it is. So it's a personality development program. So we build you as a whole, not just teach you how to participate in a GD or answer in an interview. That is what we are talking about. So this journey that we have started today is about that. Now, one more point. So of course, there are 10 sessions that we are going to do on this. ये तो पहला है, today's orientation. This is the first session. There are 9 other sessions that are going to happen. All those students who have enrolled for PDP program, either specifically PDP program, or through classroom program, or if online class or night class students also who have bought that course which has PDP, in that case you will be eligible for the entire process, these 10 sessions plus some knowledge series sessions where you will be taught economics, geopolitics, current affairs and other things, right, specializations and so on. So ये सब कुछ आपको मिलने वाला है, including the entire PDP interviews and stuff like that. However, those of you who have not enrolled in PDP program, आपके लिए ये session is a bonus. You may, you know, take some program of PDP to be a part of the process. That's what I wanted to clear. So today the session has been kept open for all CL students. भाई एक बात बताता हूँ मैं ना, धमकी, थ्रेट, वार्निंग ऐसी चीजों को सीरियसली नहीं लेता हूँ. सो आप अगर कैप्स में लिखोगे तो मैं उस क्वेश्चन को नहीं आंसर करूंगा. मुझे अगर क्वेश्चन सही लगेगा कि आंसर करने लायक है तब करूंगा. ठीक है, बिकॉज टुडे देयर इज अ सेशन विच इज अबाउट अ पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक. ओके अनिकेत. ओके, कैप्स का मतलब आई डोंट नो इफ यू नो बॉडी लैंग्वेज. ओके, सो पीडीपी की बात कर रहे हैं. लेट्स स्टार्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट बॉडी लैंग्वेज फर्स्ट, बिकॉज इन अ जीडी और इन अ पीआई or in a group exercise, that is going to be the most important part, your body language. However good a communicator you are, however good an orator you are, however beautiful knowledge on that topic, where it is VAT or GD or PI, whatever it is, if your body language does not seem right, you are not the right candidate. सब कुछ होने के बावजूद you're not a right candidate if your body language is wrong. And body language is about a lot of things. One is of course the verbal communication. There's non-verbal communication, there's gestures, there's expressions, there's everything else, right? इसमें नॉन वर्बल कम्युनिकेशन एक इंपॉर्टेंट चीज होती है. अगर मैं आपसे चिल्ला के बात करूंगा सेम चीज के बारे में, यू विल नॉट अप्रिशिएट इट. सो रिटन कम्युनिकेशन में राइटिंग इन कैप्स लॉक is bad body language, is bad non-verbal communication. Okay, okay, chalo, so let's move on. So orientation to PDP, a lot of questions. I will try to answer some questions on the way, right? I won't, might not be able to take all questions. Gautami bol rahi hai, sir, I'm a classroom student. Will I be able to access the PDP sessions online? Yes, yes, my friend. Probably we are the only one who extends this, but yes. Can we take PDP enrollment now, sir? Ananya is asking. Yes, absolutely. Will this class session be uploaded somewhere on my zone? Yes, in the PDP zone sessions it will be uploaded. ठीक है. Okay, एक और question, very good question. Sir, I have SNAP and NMAT till 20th December. Should I delay PDP and ZAT prep till then? Or at least do one session of ZAT every day and PDP whenever possible? It would be a grave problem, Shivam, if you don't prepare for PDP and ZAT, and I will tell you why in some time. Okay, चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. How to check whether we are enrolled for PDP or not? Reach out to support@careerlauncher.com and they will tell you. Okay, let's move on. Today's agenda. What is the agenda today? The first thing we are going to talk about, what is PI, what is GD, what is VAT, what does the calendar look like, what is the timeline we have. जो actually शिवम पूछ रहा है कि मेरे पास क्या टाइम है और मेरे को कब क्या करना चाहिए. That is what I'm going to answer in the first part. Then we'll talk about why PDP, what is PDP, how to go about it, and finally CL का PDP में क्या क्या आप utilize कर सकते हो, right? Even if you're enrolled, you should know what to use because there's a whole lot. अगर CL के स्टूडेंट्स रहे हो तो तुमको पता है कि रिसोर्सेज बहुत ज्यादा है, ढूंढना मुश्किल हो जाता है, इतना रिसोर्सेज है. तो आई एम गोइंग टू ब्रेक इट डाउन फॉर यू दैट पीडीपी में क्या क्या है और कितना है. ओके, सो लेट्स गो अबाउट इट. सो लेट मी स्टार्ट. कैट खत्म है लेकिन पिक्चर अभी बाकी है मेरे दोस्त. एंड व्हाई डू आई से दिस? ओके, अभी एक एक let me put an algorithm for you. Okay, this is related to what a lot of you are asking, including Shivam. आज मैं कैट खत्म करके बैठा हूं. सम पीपल हैव अ ग्रेट एटीट्यूड, जिसने बोला सर भाड़ में गया, मैं ओमेट्स का प्रिपरेशन कर रहा हूं. ओमेट्स मतलब जिसको हम नॉन कैट बोलते हैं, राइट? नॉन कैट एग्जाम्स लाइक स्नैप, एनमैट, जैट, माई कैट, MHCET, CMAT, whatever works for you, right? So all of these exams are pending except NMAT, which is which is over, I guess. या इट इज अबाउट टू बी ओवर. ओके, सो एनमैट खत्म हो गया, कैट खत्म हो गया, स्नैप फर्स्ट खत्म हो गया, अगले दो अटेम्प्ट बाकी हैं. जैट आने वाला है जनवरी 4 को. राइट, माई कैट एक हो गया, दूसरा आने वाला है जनवरी में. महाराष्ट्र सीटी एंड सी मैट फेब मार्च में होता है, या जैन जैन एंड मार्च में होता है. तो ये एग्जाम्स बाकी हैं. इसके साथ साथ, एंड यू बी सरप्राइज्ड एट द टाइम लाइन दैट आई एम गोइंग टू टॉक टू यू, पीडीपी क्यों अभी शुरू करना है, और एंड अगर अभी तक नहीं किया तो प्रॉब्लम है, एंड आई टेल यू व्हाई. ठीक है. सो पीडीपी, एंड आई शो यू द कैलेंडर ऑफ इट. सो पीडीपी के कॉल्स आना शुरू हो जाएंगे फर्स्ट एंड सेकेंड वीक ऑफ जनवरी में. पीडीपी के कुछ कॉलेजेस के इंटरव्यूज इंक्लूडिंग सम आईआईएम्स, टॉप आईआईएम्स and MIMS and some other will start in January 4th week. So January 1st, December end में, let me open this for you, okay? So look at this. These are the exams. So CAT हो गया, NMAT हो गया, MyCat 1 हो गया, Snap 1 हो गया, बाकी सब कुछ पेंडिंग है. You can still crack a good B school. Let me start with that. अब let's come to December 1st. तो दिसंबर एंड में पिछले कुछ सालों से December 20th 25th के बीच में कैट का रिजल्ट निकल जाता है. सो कैट रिजल्ट्स कम आउट बिटवीन 20th एंड 25th ऑफ दिसंबर. सो दिस ईयर ऑल्सो आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग अराउंड द सेम टाइम. 25th उन्होंने बोला है, बट कई बार जल्दी भी निकल जाता है. ठीक है. सो 20th 25th December योर कैट रिजल्ट्स विल कम आउट. NMAT results are already out for those people who took it in a certain window, right? NMAT results are out. Immediately after CAT, स्नैप का भी रिजल्ट निकल जाएगा जनवरी फर्स्ट वीक तक. एंड जैट होगा, जैट का भी 10-15 दिन में रिजल्ट आ जाएगा. राइट. सो बाय डिसम्बर, बिटवीन डिसम्बर एंड मिड जनवरी, you will have all the results in hand. In the meantime, in the second week after that, immediately, a lot of IIM shortlists will come out. Calls, जिसको हम calls बोलते हैं. Calls मतलब आपको बुलावा आया है for VAT PI GD process. That's a call. And when you convert it, it is called a convert or a selection. Okay. So calls आएंगे, which means IIM का shortlist आएगा या call आएगा. In the second week, it will start off. In the fourth week, as I told you, those forms need to be submitted. So आपको ये IIM जहां से कॉल आएगा उनके फॉर्म्स भरने पड़ेंगे, डिटेल्ड SOP फॉर्म्स, राइट, द HR क्वेश्चंस वाले फॉर्म्स that need to be submitted by fourth week, and around the same time some interviews will start. Okay. Let's look at some top interviews. Okay. IIM Ahmedabad 4th to 7th, बट ये भी देखा गया कई बार 27th 28th जनवरी को भी शुरू हो जाता है. Right? Then Indore, Kozhikode, Calcutta, Lucknow, and so on. So you have, in the February month, your entire thing will go into interviews. This is where I'm talking about the top interviews. Other colleges in the second rung, third rung will also be going on at this time, which means it is possible that you might spend last week of January to the second week of March running around for interviews. This is possible if you fill the right forms. Okay. So this is how it looks like. Now, let me take a couple of questions on this. So Sarthak, I just answered your question, and Shivam also, that should you prepare for ZAT? Should you prepare for PDP? Yes, you should. And you should start now, because कोई एक चीज, imagine this. First week or second week of January, your results come out, second week of January, and fourth week or fifth week of January, you have your interview starting. You have about two weeks, 15-20 days to prepare. And 15-20 days, आप सोचो ये बात, कैट प्रिपेयर करने में 6 महीने, 9 महीने, 12 महीने, 15 महीने भी लगे किसी को कैट क्रैक करने के लिए. एंड यू आर गोइंग टू गिव 20 days or 15 days to PDP. Do you think that that is what you need to do for a selection process? Once you get into the PDP, you'll understand that there's a lot of work required. और 20 दिन काफी नहीं है, 15 दिन काफी नहीं है. So yes, you, if you are expecting any interview at all, you should start your PDP prep right now. ठीक है. Okay, let me see if there are any relevant questions here. Okay. आई थिंक आप लोग जो पूछ रहे हो काफी चीजें कवर हो जाएंगी। मुदित क्या बोल रहा है? एम आई नॉट द पार्ट ऑफ द सेम मीटिंग? व्हाट डू यू मीन मुदित? वाह, खुशी का मैसेज पढ़ता हूं। सर योर प्रेडिक्टर सेज आई वोंट गेट मोस्ट कॉल्स। इट्स नॉट माय प्रेडिक्टर बड़ा बड़ी, इट इज योर the way your cat has been, right? So yeah, but you, if you fill the right forms, you'll still get calls. Okay. So now why PDP? So one thing, मैं हमेशा बच्चों को बोलता हूँ कि यार we will help you build your story, okay, in a PDP thing. And that's exactly so. मेरे mentees जो यहाँ पे present है will also hear this from me. Next session होने वाला है meet your mentors, जहाँ भी ये बात होगी, right, which is on I think on 20th if I'm not wrong. So 20th को meet your mentors का एक meeting होने वाला है, session होने वाला है, where we will say we will make a story for you. That doesn't mean that we will cook up a story or you have to cook up a story and tell us. No. Basically, what have you done before and how to present it in the right manner such that it is sellable. Basically, आप लोग पीडीपी में क्या कर रहे हो? You are selling yourself. बहुत गंदा सुनाई देता है कि हिंदी में बोले तो आप अपने आप को बेच रहे हो, बट इन अ वे दैट्स एग्जैक्टली व्हाट यू आर डूइंग. यू आर सेइंग व्हेन यू आर सेलिंग अ प्रोडक्ट, व्हाट डू यू से? इफ आई एम सेलिंग अ फोन, राइट, what do I say about it? I will list down the features कि इतना मेगा पिक्सल के 6 कैमरे हैं और इतना ये वाला मेरा स्क्रीन इज दिस एंड वट एवर एक्स वाई जेड चिप यूज कर रहा हूं मैं, वॉट एवर इट इज, आई एम गोइंग टू से फीचर्स विच विल make a buyer buy that phone. That's exactly what you have to do to the B school, why the B school should take you. So you are selling yourself. So you have to make a story which is sellable. Now, अगर sales का बंदा है कोई भी यहाँ पे, anyone who's had experience in sales will tell you that you need to have a script. अगर मैं फोन बेचने जा रहा हूं ना, फोन कितना भी अच्छा है, एज अ सेल्समैन अगर मेरे पास एक अच्छा स्क्रिप्ट नहीं है या एक अच्छा लॉजिक या थॉट प्रोसेस नहीं है, I will not be able to sell the phone. Similarly, if you don't have a script or a story for yourself, the same things you have done, but the way of presentation, right? Then you will not be able to sell yourself. So make your past your strength. This also means that you have to pick up a couple of subjects and study them because, so, okay, let me give you an example. सो यशस्विनी को पकड़ता हूँ मैं. यशस्विनी को मैंने पूछा कि यार क्या किया है अपने लाइफ में, एंड आई एम जस्ट अ रैंडम एग्जांपल. यशस्विनी, आई एम नॉट, आई डोंट नो यू, सो pardon me if the data is wrong, but Yashaswini says I have done let's say commerce or engineering or whatever, and I ask her how much percentage have you got, and she says sir 60, right? So then there is a small problem there. Small problem. What is the small problem? The small problem is, in my mind as an interviewer, the biggest thing that Yashaswini has done in her life, full 3 4 years of committed work, is that graduation. If she's not done that also properly, what is the proof that she'll do well going ahead? So then Yashaswini will say something like, sir, I was the, let's say the secretary of the college, general secretary, or whatever, and or I was participating in I'm a sportsman, I'm a sports person, so I play badminton on a national level or cricket on the national level or state level. Now I have something to understand that Yashaswini has done something in a good way, but still graduation is still a problem, right? So then I'll give Yashaswini a small chance to prove herself in her favorite subjects. Because ठीक है, ओवरऑल ग्रेजुएशन खराब गया, डजेंट मैटर, यू वुड हैव सम इलेक्टिव्स एंड सम बेसिक्स. अगर मैं अकाउंट्स में तुमको ये पूछूं, कॉमर्स के स्टूडेंट को या अकाउंट्स के स्टूडेंट्स को, दैट टेल मी द 3 golden rules of accounting, and you can't answer that, or I ask you the difference between debit and credit, describe what that is, and you can't answer that, basics, then what kind of graduation have you done and what have you done in that? Or if you say my electives were such and such, and you are not able to answer 3 questions on your elective, what is the use? So make your past your strength. And this is the time to do that. So if you have to revisit your academics, if you have to revisit some open courses you've done, if you have to revisit the projects or training or whatever you've done, this is the time. Hence, those 15 days will not be enough, and you have to start now. If you have to prepare about current affairs or knowledge on certain topics in the world, around the world, or news that's going on, you can't start that 3 days before the interview and do it. You have to start now. You have enough time to start preparing. So that is why PDP, right? So why you are doing this and why you supposed to. Okay, a lot of your questions are yet to be answered. So just hold on to this for a while, right? Hear me out. Your most of your questions will be answered. Then whatever remains, I'll take it up. Kickstart your preparation today. We've already talked about it. Stay ahead in the race, right? Okay. Okay. This is another thing. Craft your strategic plans. You have to have a strategy. Even in CAT, you had a strategy. ZAT, you have a different strategy. PDP, you'll have a strategy. Some strategy will work sometimes in front of an interviewer, it might not work. So you'll have to craft this plan B, plan C, and so on, and you have to navigate the scenario. I'll give you some examples. Align your profile with the expectations of the top B schools. What do the top B schools want? Let me align myself. So that means a lot of people who are working executives will know this, that when you're applying for a job, you don't have a single resume that works for all the job applications. You craft your resume according to the job profile, job description, right? That's exactly what this is. So a lot of you might have just applied for SPGen, and SPGen you might have marked finance, but elsewhere you might be talking about, let's say IIM Shillong, you might be talking about marketing for whatever reason. You will have to change your strategy for both of them. You'll have to align your profile and your resume and your discussion attuned to what you are talking about. All right. Okay. Now, how do we go about PDP? So, this is a longish section. Let's talk about it. Make your past your strength. So, when we talk about making past your strength, we are talking about personal growth. Personal, as in personal, professional, your growth and reflection on what has happened. So I'll give you an example. A lot of students say, "Sir, why would I talk about my failures? Why would I talk?" So there are questions in the interviews where you ask, "What are your weaknesses?" Sir, why would I talk about my weaknesses in front of where I'm selling myself? You want me to project my weaknesses? Oh, yes, absolutely. Because this is very interesting. If someone says he has not failed in life, and if a person says he does not have any weakness, he's the biggest liar in the world. And however brilliant you are, I will not take you in my B school if you are a liar and a faker. Get this. Why is someone asking you about your failures? To understand how you dealt with failures, what you learned, what you reflected on, and how you changed. Failures are the best stepping stones, and I can learn about you the most by knowing where you failed and when you failed and how you've come out of it. Weaknesses are important. If a person doesn't know his weakness, he is doomed to fail. He is doomed and deemed to fail. Right? So, personal growth and reflection is very important. Self awareness, as I said about the weaknesses, is very important. What are your problem solving and innovation? Do you have that kind of a mindset? So again, as managers, no one's looking for someone who's learned everything in life. No one can know everything in life. However, problem solving skills, if you have, you can come to a solution. You might not have the solution ready with you, but you can come to a solution, and that is what is being checked, right? So for example, a lot of people, you've heard of the guesstimate questions, I'm sure. If I ask you, you are from Nagpur and these are real questions, how many crows do you think are there in your city? Or if you're from Ahmedabad, how many flights do you think take off every day? Are you supposed to really know how many crows are in your city or how many airlines take off every day? No one can know that. It's a stupid question. It's not a stupid question. You are not expected to have the answer. You're not expected to have the answer. You are expected to work out an answer. And I, as an interviewer sitting there, I am checking if what kind of a thought process you have. So problem solving skills, right? Leadership experience, if any. In fact, this is wrong. Not just leadership experience, but also team experience. Do you have experience working in teams? Because again, so let me put this example in front of you. In a cricket team or a football team or whatever team, in a sports, team sports, you not everyone is a captain. In fact, Dhoni, Kohli, Sharma, Rohit Sharma, none of these guys have joined the team as a captain. They joined the team as a team member and became captain later on. One of the your best players in Sachin Tendulkar was a bad captain, and it is all right because he was a great player. He would make India win, and not as a captain, but just as a player, as an opener. Okay, so understand that either leadership skills or team skills both are as important. ठीक है, कुछ बच्चे जबरदस्ती लीडरशिप स्किल्स के नाम पे कुछ बताने की ट्राई करते हैं. डोंट डू दैट. ओके, इफ यू हैव समथिंग डेफिनेटली शो, but even if you are a good team player, you are as important for me. In fact, if one team has five members who are all five leaders, that team will fail for sure. I hope I'm getting through with what I'm saying. Okay. I was just checking the questions. I'm sorry. So, in case there are any relevant questions there. Okay, cool. And finally, conflict resolution. So, how do you collaborate? It's not just conflict resolution, it's also collaboration. So, there are always difficult people in the team. GDs करने का reason वही होता था कि there are atrocious people who have a lot of knowledge and a lot of good oratory skills, but they don't have behavioral and team skills. So, how do you behave with such people? You are not that, but how do you interact with them? How do you collaborate with them? So that is the idea. Okay. Next is, where is it? Ah. The second point that I talked about was kicking start your preparation today and staying ahead in the race. Now I'll tell you why. So what all is happening? One, personal branding workshops. This is a personal branding workshop. The PDP sessions हम बोल रहे हैं, they're personal branding workshops where we are talking to you about selling yourself, making yourself, presenting yourself as a brand, telling your story in the right manner, and this is going to be built over time, right? So personal branding workshops, strategic networking होएगा, because a lot of students who are preparing for PDP with us, you will all be put into a Telegram group. You will be made to interact with each other. A lot of knowledge sharing will happen, right? A lot of ideation in terms of how to handle interviews will also happen. So all these things amounts to strategic networking. Mock interviews will happen. So for example, in a PDP personalized program, we have 6 interviews that we promise. More if required, but 6 for sure. कई बार ये हो जाता है कि बच्चे 3 या 4 इंटरव्यू देने के बाद आते ही नहीं है, बिकॉज सर आई मैं सीख गया सब कुछ. बट 6 interviews in PDP personalized session. If you have joined the PDP planned program, then you would get 4 interview sessions, which are enough actually. 3 are enough. We've kept 4. So that is how it is. So mock interviews with detailed feedback in each of them. Okay, that's what is going to happen. Peer discussions and learning groups. Peer discussions and learning groups definitely. So you will get that, and industry knowledge in terms of जो मैंने बोला knowledge sessions होने वाले हैं. So all these things are going to kickstart your preparation starting today. Crafting your strategies to navigate every step, every scenario seamlessly. So 360-degree feedback mechanism is something that we use. So you do self-analysis also, and then you receive feedback from the mentor also, and you receive feedback from another mentor also, and someone somewhere apart from the AI. So there's an AI SOP builder and AI WAT analyzer, which will give you a feedback separately, and then there's someone else who is checking it. So understand that there's a 360-degree feedback mechanism coming your way. There's a lot of possibility of upskilling. अगर आप अभी पीडीपी शुरू करते हो और तुमको लगता है कि नहीं यार सर मैं मार्केटिंग करना चाहता हूँ, लेट मी डू अ डिजिटल मार्केटिंग का ओपन कोर्स, गुड, यू हैव अ टाइम टू डू दैट. A finance student might say that, so let me start with the foundation, CFA foundation course. Great, do that. Do all those things. So all of that and exploring more aspirations. So learning about marketing, finance, HR, the specialization, identifying your aspirations, what they are, and building stories around them. So those kind of things will help you strategically make a strategic plan to navigate your interview scenarios. Fourth is align your profile with the expectations of top B schools. So set okay, so this is going to be the hardest part. What are your short-term goals? What are your long-term goals? Why do you want to do an MBA? Why this B school? These kind of questions are going to haunt you like anything. They'll need 3 to 4 iterations minimum at the least. 3 to 4 iterations before you can come up with a semblance of an answer that you're going to discuss in your interviews. So set clear short-term goals, gather insights from alumni, prepare for the unexpected, create a portfolio of achievements. ये सारा करके तुम profile build कर रहे हो अपना. All of these things need to be done for the interview process. Right? I'm not saying interviews, I'm saying interview process, which means that also in GD also and other things. Okay, so okay. Okay, before I go ahead, let me take a look at the questions quickly. Will these sessions be online or offline for the offline enrolled students? So there will be online sessions. Okay, all these 10 sessions will be online and 10 more knowledge series sessions will be online for the offline students also. But there will be your center doing some sessions also for you. So make sure you attend all of that. So Shriji and Jasgun, this is a question answer to your question. Okay, what specialization? अच्छा, what specialization to choose? उसका भी एक सेशन होगा, right? What specialization to choose? उसका भी एक डिस्कशन होगा. अरे भाई, मैं पीडी की बात कर रहा हूं, तुम लोग अभी भी पर्सनल प्रेडिक्टर पे अटके हो. क्या कर रहे हो? फोकस ऑन व्हाट वी आर डिस्कसिंग. ओके, चलो. आई एम स्टिल रीडिंग क्वेश्चंस. ओके, चलो. Let's move on. Now let's come to this. How do top B schools, you know this, so I'm not going to waste time on this. हम ये जानते हैं how top B schools evaluate the profile. So you know already कि percentile होने से फायदा नहीं है, जरूरी नहीं है. So let me tell you 2 examples and some data. Okay, before we go into this. So before we go into this, let's hold it here. I had a student whose name was Yash, and you might have heard this stories elsewhere also because I have said this story multiple times because this student has stayed with me for a long time. Yash का 99.96 percentile, not 99.6, it was 99.96 percentile. Okay, very happy. He was happy. I was happy. Perfect. I already congratulated him for a wonderful performance. And then came the calls, okay, the shortlists. He did not get through IIM Ahmedabad, or get through nahi, get a call for IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, Lucknow, Kozhikode. The top 6 में से top 5 IIMs में से उसको कॉल नहीं आया. ABCLK 5 IIMs. Only got a call from IIM Indore at 99.96. And he got a call from FMS also. राइट. क्यों? जनरल इंजीनियर मेल तो था. ओके, जनरल इंजीनियर मेल तो था ही, विच इज अ वेरी वेरी डिफिकल्ट कैटेगरी टू बी इन. राइट. एट द सेम टाइम उसका कुछ, आई थिंक ग्रेजुएशन में 80 का रिक्वायरमेंट था, उसका 79.6 या ऐसा कुछ था. 7.96 CGPA and 8 CGPA was a desired one. So because of that 99.96 pay, he did not get a call. On the other hand, there's another student of mine, Anjum Kak. So Anjum had 97.5 percentile. She got a call from IIM Ahmedabad. She cleared the call from IIM Ahmedabad. She passed out from IIM Ahmedabad. Now, at this stage, let me ask you, last year, at what percentile did IIM Ahmedabad give an admission to a general candidate? The last percentile, the minimum percentile, at which a general category student could have got into IIM Ahmedabad. Right, Sarthak, it was 93 point something, correct? The calls went as low as 83 point something. Final converts were at 93 percentile. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू डोंट नो, तो पहले तो अपने प्रोफाइलाइजर में जाके पहले तो पर्सनल प्रेडिक्टर में परसेंटाइल देख लिया, फिर जाके प्रोफाइलाइजर में चेक किया, तो समझ में आएगा कि कॉल कहां से आएगा कहां से नहीं आएगा. यू हैव अ रफ एस्टिमेट ऑफ दैट. ओके. So why is all this happening? So there are two things. There's something called a percentile and there's something called a profile. Now let's clear this. Okay. So profile means two different things, by the way. प्रोफाइल के दो मतलब होते हैं. एक जो शॉर्टलिस्ट आने के लिए प्रोफाइल चाहिए होता है, जो आईएम्स को चाहिए होता है, ये वाला, विच इज ऑन योर स्क्रीन नाउ, राइट, जहां पे 10th 12th ग्रेजुएशन, जेंडर, एकेडमिक स्ट्रीम, रिजर्वेशन कोटा, ये सारी चीजें मैटर करती है, जिसके मे बी वर्क एक्सपीरियंस इन सम प्लेसेस. ऑल ऑफ दीज कंबाइन टू गिव यू अ प्रोफाइल स्कोर. नाउ द परसेंटाइल एंड द प्रोफाइल स्कोर दोनों का एक कॉम्बिनेशन के बेसिस पे यू माइट और माइट नॉट गेट अ कॉल. यू नो दिस. बट इंटरव्यू प्रोसेस में पीडीपी में हम जब प्रोफाइल बोलते हैं उसका मतलब अलग होता है. दैट्स अ डिफरेंट मीनिंग ऑफ प्रोफाइल. दैट प्रोफाइल इज अ प्रोफाइल विच इज योर पोर्टफोलियो ऑफ लाइफ, what you've done personally, professionally, academically, all of that, right? So दोनों प्रोफाइल का मतलब अलग है. Please remember that. So now let's come to this. So I am Ahmedabad, for example, a profile score is given 15% weightage. CAT is given 25% weightage. So that is 40% weightage to something that you can't change right now. आई एम अहमदाबाद में जाने के लिए 40% को तुम चेंज नहीं कर सकते. वो हो चुका है. योर प्रोफाइल स्कोर इज डन, योर परसेंटाइल इज डन, both the things are done. In I am Bangalore, if you see, that is 50%. If FMS you see, that is 80%. Okay. Okay. So rest of the things which are in your hand is 10% weightage is given to. Why is this not adding up? Something wrong here. नहीं बराबर है. ठीक है. 10% is AWT VAT in IIM Ahmedabad and 50% is PI. Look at IIM Bangalore. 10% is AWT VAT and 40% is PI. Calcutta में 8% is AWT VAT, 48% is PI. So PI holds 40 to 50% in most B schools or more, exception of FMS and IIM Kozhikode. बाकी सारी कॉलेजेस में 40% प्लस वेटेज इज गिवन टू पीआई and 50% plus is for the PI VAT GD process. तो गेम अभी भी तुम्हारे हाथ में है अगर कॉल आता है तो. और बहुत सारी कॉलेजेस में, इन अ लॉट ऑफ कॉलेजेस, देयर इज नो सच थिंग एज अ प्रोफाइल स्कोर. सिंपली परसेंटाइल पे वो लोग कॉल दे देंगे. द लॉट ऑफ कॉलेजेस. ओके. सो अंडरस्टूड. लेट्स मूव ऑन. Now let's talk about a little bit about personal interview. What are they looking for? So there are two things. There are different types of interviews. Let me explain the different types of interviews. One is an informational interview. Informational interview is simply to collect your information. It's not generally a judgmental interview. Things like 10th कब हुआ, 12th कब हुआ, कितना परसेंटेज आया, ग्रेजुएशन में क्या हुआ, have you done your job or not. Those are informational interview. Generally, a lot of companies do informational interview before the actual interview. Okay, so that's an informational interview. अब इसमें भी informational interview could be a detailed informational interview as well, like in the B schools. So इसमें भी अलग अलग types होते हैं. So I'll give you an example. Informal interview. So informal interview actually मेरे साथ हुआ था, और एक स्टूडेंट का भी एग्जाम्पल दूंगा. So in one of my early days companies that I was applying to, I had 2 rounds of interviews that happened. taken by 7 people in total. So एक ग्रुप में 5 लोग थे, दूसरे इंटरव्यू में 2 लोग थे. 7 people took my interview, 2 rounds. Finally, I was told that the third round of interview with the CEO is going to happen. This thin, very, very scrawny looking guy walks in a fata hua jeans and loose t-shirt. And he comes and tells me, are you Sazil? मैंने बोला, yes, come with me. And he took me down and we went down to a rekdi. And there for the next 20-25 minutes, he was having chai sutta. He was a CEO of the company. He was having chai sutta and all. We were chatting away to glory. Okay, बहुत प्यारा सा chatting किया. And then we went up to the office again. And then I said, sir, what about the interview? And he said, हो गया. This is a prime example of an interview. A similar thing happened with a student, my student. राइट. जनरली बड़े बड़े होटल्स में सिटीज, बड़े बड़े सिटीज में दिल्ली, बैंगलोर, मुंबई जैसे, उसमें बड़े बड़े होटल्स में इंटरव्यू प्रोसेसेस होती है कई बार. सो दिस किड इन ए सूट बूट एंड एवरीथिंग वेंट आउट फॉर अ स्मोक होटल के बाहर. एंड ही मेट सम ओल्डिश गाय and both of them smoked together and talked about things. And then they left and he went to the waiting room. When he was called for the interview, one of the interviewers said, तेरे से तो बात हो गई है, और क्या बात करूं मैं? And he was selected also. Informal interview. These things also happen. Okay. Then there's a roundabout method. Roundabout method मतलब जहाँ गोल गोल घुमा के so for example, I will ask you a question. You will answer something. And then I'll take you roundabout manner में all around the room, not literally in the questions, and then bring you back to that question where you would have answered the opposite. It's a roundabout method. That's putting you in a spot. Okay, so that's a roundabout method of interview. Then there's a formal interview, normally, जो बैठ के सवाल पूछा जवाब दिया, सवाल पूछा जवाब दिया. That is a formal interview. There's a stress interview, right? And I have faced a stress interview and at my own accord, by the way. Okay, so stress interview, let me tell you a little bit about as a story. I am a very confident guy. Generally, I don't get shaken by things. I don't get afraid. I don't get shy. Nothing happens to me. मेरे को डराना, नर्वस करना बहुत मुश्किल है. और ये इंटरव्यू में बैठा हूं मैं. And in this interview, one guy, so and the interview is going well. I'm answering every question. Okay, so it's going very well. He put me in a spot by asking me one question, academic question about antenna, a subject called antenna. So I was an electronics and telecommunications engineer. So he asked me a question about antenna and I had to say, sir, this is not my favorite subject. I hate this subject. So please ask me something else. To this he says, okay, Sazil, tell me something about the Shannon's theorem or something like that. And I have heard this word. And I tell him, and I'm being over smart here. Okay. So I tell him that, sir, I've heard this and it has something to do with some economic theory because I knew that he was an eco professor. बाहर से मैं पूछ के आया था, over smart, right? So मैं पूछ के आया था कि कौन है. I knew all the 3 profs who were sitting there and the center guy, Bino Paul, is an economic professor. So of course he would ask me about economics. So जैसे ही मैंने बोला it's a theory which has something to do with economics, blah blah, immediately he caught me and he said, Sazil, this is the basics of your communication theory in engineering. And I was like, oh fuck. And I did not know what to do. My legs started shaking and I started sweating. And I kept my smile on and then I answered 5 questions of academics in a row. And I got through. Okay, so this is the kind of situation that also happens. They are just putting you, sometimes they shout at you and they put you in a difficult spot because they want to put you in a spot and see how you handle stress. It's not again about knowing all the questions. It's about knowing how to handle stress. Okay, so that's a stress interview. आजकल कम ही होता है ये. आज से 10 साल 20 साल पहले बहुत ज्यादा होता था ये, अब बहुत कम होता है. फॉलो अप इंटरव्यूज, आप इंटरव्यूज जनरली जॉब्स में होता है कि यार अच्छे लगे हो लेकिन आई एम नॉट श्योर, सो आई कॉल यू अगेन एंड टॉक टू यू, मीट समवन एल्स, वो वाला बात है. Then you have something called group interview. Very interesting. And this is something that SP Gen does. So all of you who have applied for SP Gen and might get calls from SP Gen, You will face group interviews. Group interviews meaning there are 4 or 5 students sitting together and 2 or 3 interviewers sitting here, and they are throwing questions at you, and randomly the questions are being exchanged. If candidate A has answered something, I can just pick that question and ask candidate C, what do you think about this? So those kind of things happen. So अगर candidate C सुन नहीं रहा है इन्हें क्या बोला, तो प्रॉब्लम है. ठीक है. So group interview, then there's something called technical interview, which is technical about your academics, about your work experience, technical stuff. However, in your interview, it's going to be an informational interview and a technical interview all at the same time, which may be an informal, formal, or stress interview, either of them. That's what I'm trying to get at. And finally, there's an HR interview where HR questions, short term goals, long term goals, what do you want to do in life, what's your life goal, or why do you want to do an MBA, why not something else, those kind of questions. So that is how it is. Now, what are the required skills? The first skill required is communication. Of course, I've talked about this. Now, the communication does not mean verbal communication. Communication means non-verbal communication. I guess you might have heard this, at multiple places, that in the last almost for 50 minutes that we've been talking here, 55 minutes, 7% of those 55 minutes that you have listened and I have talked is the words coming out of my mouth or the words written on this PPT. Rest 93% is all non-verbal. Which means if you understand that this is a type of PI and this is the required skills, it's because of that arrow is drawn in such a way that's a non-verbal communication. Okay. So communication, the thought process, how your thought process goes, which is what I was talking about in terms of guesstimate questions, right? So thought process कैसी है आपकी, क्या सोचते हो, attitudinal चीजें भी कैसी है, thought process in the sense, knowledge क्या है आपका knowledge base. अच्छा, knowledge base academics में नहीं है, 4 सब्जेक्ट में है, वो नहीं है, कुछ और है, वो नहीं है सर वर्क एक्स में है. आई डोंट नो व्हाट आई डिड इन माय पास्ट इन ग्रेजुएशन, बट हियर इज व्हाट आई डिड इन द वर्क एक्सपीरियंस. Knowledge as a whole, which includes everything else, because you don't know what's going to be useful to you. Okay, you can strategize, but you can't know कि तुम्हें क्या पूछा जाएगा और तुम्हें क्या आएगा क्या नहीं आएगा. So knowledge is important. Attitude, biggest point, more than communication. So if I were to put these 4 things in a sequence, the top one would be attitude, the second one would be knowledge, the third one, sorry, second one would be thought process, third would be knowledge, and the last one would be communication. Communication is important. By the way, here is something I want to say about this. Communication is not English. A lot of people think speaking good English is communication. No. So someone could speak fluent English, but उसके बीच में like use करते हो, which a lot of Gen Zs do these days. That sounds stupid to the person sitting in front of you. Not cool. It sounds stupid. Okay, so you need to work on your communication, though it's the last of these 4 things, but it is important. But the most important is your attitude. Okay, behavior. Now, behavior, when I say, how do I explain this? Again, however good communication, knowledge, all of that is you have, but if your behavior towards other people is not good, whether it's the interviewers or the students, your peers or whoever, right, that is visible. So please make sure that you work on this big time. Readiness to learn. Now, this is a part of attitude though, but 2 things which are इसमें नहीं है. 2 things which are very important in terms of attitude also is, one is readiness to learn. So it's okay if I don't know everything, but am I open to learning? Am I accepting? Secondly, am I adaptive? Very important. Then comes problem solving skills, leadership potential. Again, it's not leadership per se, it's leadership potential and team skills. Okay, so these are the things that are important for you to understand. Let me take a look at the questions. Sarthak का क्वेश्चन अच्छा है. Is listening and understanding more important than telling? Well, first of all, understanding is one thing. Yes. uh, एक बात सुनाता हूँ तेरे को. Listening means hearing and understanding. What's the difference between hearing and listening? When I hear you, I may have heard you, but I may not have understood. I may not have responded. I may not have even let it go inside my brain. But that is hearing. But listening means hearing and understanding, being alert, being there in the moment, making the other person feel important. All of those things. Right? Yes, absolutely. Okay. Let's move on. So, what are the do's and don'ts in PI? And this is, since this is the first lecture, I am straight away delving into this. In the next session onwards, we will be going much deeper than this. Okay, so let's go for it. Do's. What are the do's? So, first of all, dress for success, and formal is the dressing. You are comfortable with it, you're not comfortable with it, doesn't matter. If you're not comfortable with it, a lot of people say, chalega na, comfortably dress ho jao. A lot of mentors will also say that. With due respect to them, you have time. If you have to wear a suit and tie in the interview, and if you're not comfortable today, you have 1.5 months to prepare for that. रोज 1 घंटा सूट टाई पहनने का प्रैक्टिस करो, पहन के बैठ जाओ, डू वट एवर शिट यू वॉन्ट, राइट, बट get ready for it. So dress formally. Okay, very important. Next, handshake. Greeting or handshake or both, right? So when you get in, a lot of smart students, right, intelligent students, good candidates, they come in and they don't have that gumption to say hello, good morning, namaste, good afternoon, whatever shit, right, bonjour, जो भी बोलना चाहते हो. They don't have the gumption to greet, right? So greeting absolutely important. Even when you are leaving the room, absolutely stressed and devastated कि क्या खराब इंटरव्यू गया है, मे बी तुझे लग रहा है खराब गया है, उनके दिमाग में अच्छा गया है, they have judged you right, maybe they have made you feel that the interview went bad, and out of frustration you just left the room and left with a bad last impression, right? So that is very important. Handshake, another thing, right? So handshake is this. I'm sure again you would have heard this, but I'm assuming you've not heard this because I'm teaching you. So let me start from the beginning. A firm handshake is very important. You know what a firm handshake? A person who does not do a firm handshake, a natural body language conclusion is that the person is not confident, or he's scared, or he's nervous, or whatever, so, but he's not a positive affirmative guy or girl. So a strong handshake, very important. Sometimes girls, not in this day and age so much, but abhi bhi hai, girls have been taught not to have physical contact with men and they're not comfortable, right? A handshake is strictly supposed to be professional. In fact, give such a strong handshake which tells the other guy, don't screw around with me, don't do fun anything funny with me. Okay, I will not take it. So that is what the handshake talks about. Okay, appropriate greeting, I already talked about this. Eye contact and smile, absolutely do's. Correct body language, right? Take a copy of your resume, take 2 copies of your resume. If there are 3 interviewers, take 3 copies of your resume. Carry your the docket of your certificates or whatever, all of that with you. Most of the times they might not ask for it, most of the times they might not check it, but your job is to take it with you. Okay, in which there should be 2 empty sheets, plain sheets, because if you have to work out a question or a diagram or something, you shouldn't be asking for sheets. One. Two, a pen, a working pen. Two empty sheets, clean sheets, 1 pen, and 3 copies of resume with your certificates. This is what you need to copy. Okay, a lot of times students are so excited that they don't let the interviewer complete the question. मुझे समझ में आ गया, I'm telling you. Wait. So don't cut the interviewer. Let the interviewer complete the question. Don't interject. Okay. Be to the point and concise. Okay, this is very interesting. Now, there are two kinds of people. Okay, only two kinds of people. One who speak too less and one who speak too much more. Right now, what does this mean? First of all, there are people who the interviewer keeps asking questions, and I'll talk to you when I mentor you and I take your interviews. I will give you this feedback that some people you have to put your hand in their mouth to get the answer, and still you won't get the answer. Okay, so that it's very difficult to get an answer from such people. On the other hand, there are people who keep blabbering. They start from 1947. Any story you ask them, tell me something about yourself, you start from 1947. Right? That is not what is required. So be to the point and concise, but be detailed enough to be able to answer the question. There are some students I've seen who answer in single syllables: yes, no, maybe, okay. That's all. You cannot have an interaction with these people, and there's no way you can judge that this candidate is good or bad if you don't speak. Okay. And finally, pleasure meeting you. Goodbye, see you, bye bye, whatever. Right, so that um Sarthak, both handshake and a verbal intro or vocal intro, right? So yes. Ananya says handshake at entry, exit, or both. So first of all, at the entry for sure, exit if they offer to shake the hands, right? So that's my take. Okay, next, don'ts. Biggest don't, and the only don't in my opinion, is don't lie and don't bluff. I've been an interviewee for a long time, but I've been an interviewer for the past 18-20 years. And believe me, it is very easy to catch a lie or a bluff. I still remember one student who had come for a mock interview with me. And this was way back in 2016, 17. And he had actually prepared a lie. And you know what lie it was? He did not have hobbies. So he had made up a hobby of ghost hunting. And he'd made up a fake club and a fake Instagram page to support that. इंस्टाग्राम नहीं, उस टाइम पे फेसबुक था, फेसबुक पेज. तो उसने एक फेक फेसबुक पेज बनाया था टू विद पीपल इन दैट, एंड वी गो गोस्ट हंटिंग. हम भानगढ़ गए हैं, भानगढ़ में इतना वोल्टेज डिफरेंस, ही सेड ऑल ऑफ दोस थिंग्स. We cross questioned him, but we couldn't catch him in the interview because he answered all the questions. But we knew he was lying. So if I were the real interviewer, I would have heard him, I would not have been able to pin him, but I would have not selected him. Okay. So don't lie, don't bluff. Please don't do that. Don't shake hands. And I was coming to this. Don't shake hands unless the interviewer extends it. You don't force someone to shake hands. Okay. But when someone extends it, you answer with a good handshake. The worst thing, if I want to put you under pressure at the onset of an interview, is if you extend your hand for a handshake and I don't take it. What will you do? Okay. So just be safe. Say good morning, good afternoon. If they do this, you do this. Right? That's all. Okay. Don't argue with the interviewer. You may be right. Don't argue. That's the worst thing you could do to yourself. Okay. Sometimes it happens that interviewer अड़ गया है, तुमको लगता है तुम भी सही हो. Fight good enough to a point, but don't let it become an argument or an ego battle. Okay, you are there for a seat. So if you think so, you end it with, sir, this is what I feel. I will still go and rethink or recheck my facts. That's all. End the discussion if it's going bad. Okay. Don't cook up a story. I've already shared this. Don't panic if you don't know the answer. So it's okay to not know the answers. You can't know everything. You try to prepare as much as you can, but you can't know everything. Okay. Fine. Uh, don't pretend. So I remember one student from Gujarat, Kathiawad if you know, right? And he started with a British accent. ठीक है, he started with a British accent. जैसे स्ट्रेस बढ़ता गया, प्रेशर बढ़ता गया, तो the British accent became Kathiawadi accent, and that is what happens. So don't pretend something that you are not. Okay. And oh, the biggest one for you and your generation, the worst thing. You know, generally, why I'm saying this, turn your cell phone off. इस चीज में तुम्हारे सबसे बड़े दुश्मन कौन होंगे पता है? Your parents. They'll be so keen to know how your interview went that they'll call you 5 times. And in the interview, your phone will ring and your father or mother will be calling you. Right? So please don't carry your cell phones at all into the interview. Okay. Now, okay. Now let's talk something about the introductions in an interview. Okay. How do you introduce yourself? And what is the difference between a prepared student and unprepared? आप बोलोगे सर इंट्रोडक्शन में क्या प्रिपरेशन? I know myself. I am Sazil Shah. I've done my engineering, then I did my MBA from XYZ college, and then I did this, and then I joined my job at UB Group. I can say about myself, right? So anyone can say about themselves. But no, when you've not prepared, it will not come out right. I told you, right? Strategize. So the interesting part is in your entire interview, starting with introduction, entire interview, you are going to lead your interviewer. What does this mean? So either you will lead your interviewer or your interviewer will lead you. If the interviewer leads you, he will go to places that you don't want to go. But if you lead your interviewer, you can take the interviewer to where you want to go. I'll repeat. If the interviewer leads your interview, he will take you to places you don't want to go. And if you lead your interview, you can take in the interviewer to the places you want to go to. Now, why is this? Because the interviewer basically, let's say I am the interviewer. I am sitting here to understand you. If you are a student, let's say Shivam, I want to understand what Shivam is, who Shivam is, what he has done in his life. उसी के लिए बैठा हूं मैं. अगर वो कुछ गड़बड़ बोलता है, then I want to challenge him as an interviewer. Or if I think this is doubtful, I'll cross question him to see if there's any depth in this. That's the most I want to do. I want Shivam to drive the interview. However, if Shivam is not giving me the chance to drive the interview, or he's not taking the chance to drive the interview, then I will take it on myself to look at his resume and his form and everything and pick out things to talk about. And that could get uncomfortable. And this starts in the introduction. When you're introducing yourself, that's the first impression. And in the first few moments, first few seconds or minutes, if you give the right, what do you say, fodder to the interviewer, and the interviewer picks it up, it's your victory because now you are in my territory, as in the candidate's territory, right? So the interviewer, if he catches the bait, right, he is in your territory, and there is higher chance of victory there. Okay, so let's look at this. Okay, let's look at what an unstructured interview, and this is something. It's not one person who's done it, but I've compiled a lot of experiences that I've had with my mentees, and this is how they talk. I've taken a random name, Premanand. Hi myself, Premanand. Okay, so first sentence is wrong, and a lot of vernacular medium students or even English medium students make this mistake. A sentence is supposed to have a subject and a verb. I am Sazil. Myself, Sazil, kuch nahi hota. I was born in ABC town and I was brought up in XYZ in a slightly upper middle class family. I like to sing and dance. And oh, I also like to read and study. Now, what is the problem with this? Tell me. If you like studying, which means you're good at academics, or you like reading fiction or something else, then you say it that way, right? And then you say, okay, my hobbies are singing and dancing. But this is absolutely unprepared. Huh? I like to sing and dance, and oh, I also like to study and read and study. I have actually heard a student say this. I have one dad, one mom, and one brother. If you do have two dads, I don't think you would say that in your introduction. Okay. My mom says I'm a very smart person. Of course, हर माँ के लिए अपना बेटा शाहरुख खान होता है ना. Is this the way you introduce yourself? And these are real things. I'll give you an example, which is not here on the screen. Lot of times, Jain students, and I'm not being क्या बोलते हैं इधर communal or anything. I'm just saying Jain students, for some reason, always mention in the interview that I come from a Jain family. You will not hear a Hindu or a Muslim or a Christian talking like that. I come from a Hindu family or Christian family or Muslim family. No, but a Jain will always say I come from a Jain family. Why do I want to know that? Unless you want to take me there, you want to lead the interview towards Jainism. You say it. So, in one of the interviews where a student said, I am from a Jain family, right? I straight away took him to talking about Santhara. Santhara is taking your own life by staying hungry. It's a kind of samadhi. And उस टाइम पे न्यूज चल रहा था 13-year-old girl had taken a samadhi of this sort. और पूरा डिस्कशन मैंने उस पर ले दिया कि ये मॉरली राइट है कि रॉन्ग है. 13-year-old डज नॉट हैव द राइट टू टेक अ डिसीजन. शी स्टिल अ किड. अडल्ट सुपरविजन होना चाहिए. सो हर पेरेंट्स शुड बी पुट इन जेल. वी वेंट इन टू डिस्कशन ऑफ दैट सॉर्ट. एंड द स्टूडेंट फीडबैक में बोलता है, सर ये आप कहाँ ले गए मुझे? वाई दिस? मैं बोला, तूने बोला जैन फैमिली, मैंने नहीं बोला. यू सेड जैन फैमिली, आई सेड ओके, लेट्स डिस्कस दैट. That is how it works. So how does a prepared introduction sound like? Okay, on the contrary, good morning, my name is Premanand and I hail from this city. I have done my engineering electronics and communication from PQR college. My father is a doctor and mother is a homemaker. I have a brother who is ABC from CDE. I am an ambitious and confident person who does not give up on things easily. Rather than saying my mom thinks I'm a very smart boy, right? I would rather say it in a different way, which is prepared and should come out that way. So I'm an ambitious and confident person who does not give up on things easily. I love to read books and vocal music is my passion. I like to sing and dance. Nahin. Right? To all the Pookie boys out there, prepare. Okay. Okay, that was a little funny, but ठीक है. चलो. Now let's talk about WAT. Strategically writing WAT. How to write WAT strategically. You will have sessions on this. So PI पे sessions होंगे, personality पे sessions होंगे, WAT पे sessions होंगे, GDs पे sessions होंगे. इन सब चीजों पे अलग अलग sessions हैं. आज का session orientation है where we'll be covering a little bit about everything. Right? So you have a session planned for everything. Okay. Good question by Pratibha. सर वी शुड ओनली से द फर्स्ट नेम इन द इंट्रोडक्शन. नहीं, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. पहले तो कितना बोलना चाहिए, देयर इज नो राइट वे और मेजरमेंट ऑफ सेइंग कि इतना ही बोलना चाहिए. इनफैक्ट if I am your mentor, I will make you prepare a 2 to 3 minute introduction. 2 to 3 minutes. So if I don't stop you, you should be able to go on for 2 to 3 minutes in which your important points should be covered so that you can guide. This is how we're going to prepare. Okay. Okay. रचित अभी घुसा है शायद सेशन में. ओके. हाँ. चलो. So what does WAT look for? Okay, WAT stands for Written Ability Test or Writing Ability Test. So first of all, let's understand. Writing ability का मतलब कुछ भी हो सकता है. स्टोरी लिखो, पोएम लिखो, है ना? राइट, ऐसे लिखो, कुछ भी लिखो. Is writing test, writing ability. But there's another word for this called AWT, not WAT, AWT. So IIM Ahmedabad conducts AWT. It calls it AWT, but all the WATs are AWT. Understand this. What does AWT stand for? Analytical Writing Test. So writing भी दो तरह के हो सकते हैं. ब्रॉडली दो तरह के हो सकते हैं. There is analytical writing and there's a creative writing. सो फॉर एग्जाम्पल माइका एग्जाम में जो आप लोग देखते हो, स्टोरी लिखना होता है, कुछ कंस्ट्रक्ट करना होता है, दैट इज क्रिएटिव राइटिंग. दीज वैट्स आर ऑल एनालिटिकल राइटिंग, एडब्ल्यूटीज. ओके. सो एडब्ल्यूटी का मतलब क्या हुआ? सो एनालिटिकल राइटिंग का मतलब क्या हुआ कि आपको कोई एक सपोज एक इशू, एक आर्ग्यूमेंट, एक कुछ दिया हुआ है. कि शुड नरेंद्र मोदी इज नरेंद्र मोदी अ गुड प्राइम मिनिस्टर फॉर एग्जाम्पल. नाउ इट्स वेरी इजी टू से हाँ हाँ अच्छा है ना ना खराब है, right? Whatever your opinion is your opinion and you are entitled to your opinion, so that is okay. You can say whatever you want. But why are you saying what you are saying? Are you supporting your opinion with facts, reason, examples, logic? ये check होता है. I'll repeat. Your opinion is your opinion, but your opinion should be supported by facts, reason, example, and logic. This is called analytical writing. Okay? So AWT. Uh, basically it evaluates critical thinking, clarity, and written communication. Again, communication is the last part. The first part is critical thinking and clarity. Communication थोड़ा प्लस माइनस है ना तो चल जाएगा. A lot of students think कि सर मैं बड़े बड़े वर्ड्स और कॉम्प्लिकेटेड शेक्सपियरियन इंग्लिश में बात करूंगा, कॉम्प्लिकेटेड सेंटेंसेस बनाऊंगा, इंप्रेस कर दूंगा, शशि थरूर लैंग्वेज. No, that is not what is required. You don't need a flowery language. You don't need the most complex of the vocabularies. You don't need that. You need clear thinking and critical thinking, clarity in your thought process. You need good support in what you are saying. That is critical thinking. कि मैं जो बोल रहा हूँ वो क्यों बोल रहा हूँ, कितनी क्लैरिटी से बोल रहा हूँ. Right? So that is what AWT or WAT evaluates. Okay. So, if you want to prepare for it, start following general knowledge, economic policies, global business trends, corporate events, and such. Right? So, ये सबके मैंने जैसे बोला knowledge series sessions होंगे. There will be some sessions called knowledge series sessions conducted for you. Some of you at the centers, you might get some sessions there also, right? But you start preparing at your own. In fact, in your my zone, there is a PDP zone का section मैं दिखाऊंगा अभी. तो PDP zone के अंदर you have something called a PDP handbook. Look for it. PDP handbook has a lot of starting points to these things. कि तुमको बेसिक्स हम दे देंगे. आगे का फिर तेरे को कितना डेप्थ में जाना है वो तेरे ऊपर है, किस टॉपिक पे कितना डेप्थ में जाना है. दैट इज ऑन यू, राइट? बट यू शुड बी फॉलोइंग दिस स्टार्टिंग नाउ बिकॉज वैट के लिए कंटेंट चाहिए. ओके, देन यू यूज फ्रेमवर्क्स. फ्रेमवर्क्स मतलब कि अगर मुझे एक टॉपिक दिया हुआ है, सो फॉर एग्जाम्पल मैं आई विल टेक अ वेरी सिंपल एग्जाम्पल ऑफ इज नरेंद्र मोदी अ गुड प्राइम मिनिस्टर. So I could just say, चलो SWOT analysis करते हैं. What are his strengths? What are his weaknesses? What are threats? What are opportunities? And then some performance parameters. And I have a format, a framework to write my WAT. Right? Then there's something called PESTLE also. We'll talk about PESTLE in some time. Right? Okay. Present both sides of the argument for depth and credibility. So, for example, I don't have to be a fence sitter. I have to have an opinion. If opinion is asked, opinion is what I will give. मैं बीच में बैठ के बोलूंगा मैं सेफ गेम खेल रहा हूं तो तुमको रिस्पेक्ट नहीं मिलेगा वैट में. वाई? सिंपली बिकॉज अ पर्सन हु इज ऑन अ फेंस सिटर in VAT or in GD, wherever there's an argument or an opinion required, right? If you're sitting on the fence, if you're in the right in the center, that means you're trying to be safe. You're trying to play safe, not a right material for a management student. So you should have an opinion and you should have a reason for an opinion. However, what you can do is you can analyze both the sides and then take one. You can say ये भी है वो भी है, नरेंद्र मोदी ने अच्छे काम किए हैं, ये नरेंद्र मोदी ने ये घटिया काम किए हैं, लेकिन फाइनली आई थिंक आई लाइक द वे ही वर्क्स बिकॉज 1 2 3 4. So you can present both the sides also for depth and credibility. So Arunab, I just answered your question, right? ये कुछ और बोल रहे हो. Stick to the limit. So you don't have to write too much. You have to write good stuff, meaty material, not long material. Right? So मूवी छोटी बनाओ, लंबी बनाने की जरूरत नहीं है, अच्छी बनाओ. That is the point. Avoid jargons. I already talked about this. Avoid jargons and big vocab and wasting time on that. Rather prioritize clarity and coherence. अच्छा, अगर आपकी vocabulary अच्छी है तो यूज करो, नो प्रॉब्लम. but don't waste your time on doing that. That's what I'm saying. Use professional language, and this is going to be difficult for you because first of all, even if you're good at English, आप बहुत सारे लोगों को लिखने की आदत नहीं होती है. आप लिखते हो तो अपनी एसएमएस लिंगो में लिखते हो. आप बोलते हो तो लाइक लाइक करके बोलते हो. इज अ बिग प्रॉब्लम. सो कैजुअल एक्सप्रेशंस आईडी के लिख के नहीं जा सकते. अगर आईडी के लिखना है आईएमओ, इन माय ओपिनियन लिखना पड़ेगा, आईएमओ नहीं लिख सकते. आई नो आई एम टॉकिंग इन अ लैंग्वेज दैट यू गाइस आर एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड, राइट? सो अवॉइड स्लैंग्स, अवॉइड कैजुअल एक्सप्रेशंस. अच्छा, जो बच्ची कुची कसर थी वो एआई ने खत्म कर दी है लिखने के लिए, है ना? अभी एआई काम नहीं आने वाला. स्टॉप राइटिंग इन एआई. स्टॉप टेकिंग हेल्प राइटिंग योर मेल्स और वट एवर यूजिंग एआई. राइट योर शिट योर सेल्फ फ्रॉम नाउ ऑन. ठीक है? यू कैन गेट इट चेक्ड एंड एनालाइज्ड बाय एआई. एआई कैन चेक एंड गिव यू फीडबैक ऑन इट. डोंट मेक इट राइट योर स्टफ. एंड फॉर दैट मैटर यू डोंट हैव टू वरी, बिकॉज हमारे पास वैट एआई वैट राइटर है, एनालाइजर है. सो यू पुट योर वैट इन इट एंड इट विल एनालाइज एंड गिव यू पॉइंट्स के कम्युनिकेशन इतना पॉइंट्स, क्लैरिटी ऑफ थॉट इतना पॉइंट्स, क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग इतना पॉइंट्स. सो वो पैरामीटर्स पे तुमको पॉइंट्स और क्वालिटेटिव और क्वांटिटेटिव फीडबैक दे देगा. So don't worry about it. You don't have to go to a chat GPT or Gemini or anyone. We have a trained AI with us. ठीक है? So you already have it in your PDP zone, by the way. Okay. Similarly, you have an AI SOP writer. So content आप दोगे, वो आपके SOP को सुधार के देने में हेल्प करेगा to construct it. Okay. Okay. Now let's come to GDs. We talked about PI. We talked about VAT. Uh, I think we've been going on for what time? Almost 1.5 घंटा हो गया ना. I will try to wrap this up in 15-20 minutes. Okay, GD. So GD, you get generally 1 or 2 minutes. You're given a topic, then you're given 1 or 2 minutes to think about it. 8 to 10 and sometimes 12 to 14 students. So anywhere between 8 to 14 students are there in a GD, right? The duration given to you is 15 to 20 minutes to discuss. So कुछ टॉपिक्स देख लेते हैं. पास्ट फ्यू ईयर्स में एक दो दो एग्जांपल लेता हूं मैं. इज ब्लेंडेड लर्निंग द न्यू नॉर्मल? ब्लेंडेड लर्निंग पहले तो समझ में आना पड़ेगा. ब्लेंडेड लर्निंग क्या है? व्हाट इज ब्लेंडेड लर्निंग? राइट. सो यहाँ कोविड से शुरू करके ऑनलाइन ऑफलाइन हाइब्रिड ब्लेंडेड वो सब पे जाना पड़ेगा. राइट. सो दैट इज वन. हाउ टू टैकल डिजिटल मीडिया अडिक्शंस? राइट. Okay, a question is how many IIMs? Mostly IIMs don't take GDs. All other colleges, almost all other colleges do. ठीक है, सबके अपने अपने तरीके होते हैं. सो आई कम टू दैट. अच्छा, मैंने दूसरा वर्ड क्या लिखा है जीडी के साथ? ग्रुप टास्क. सो ग्रुप जीडी इज ऑल्सो ग्रुप टास्क. पहले अंडरस्टैंड देयर समथिंग कॉल्ड ग्रुप एक्टिविटीज. ओके, एक लार्जर ग्रुप बनाते हैं, अम्ब्रेला टर्म. ग्रुप एक्टिविटीज. ग्रुप एक्टिविटीज में क्या क्या होता है? ग्रुप डिस्कशन होता है, ग्रुप एक्सरसाइज होता है, केस डिस्कशन होता है, ग्रुप टास्क होता है. ग्रुप एक्सरसाइज और ग्रुप टास्क मोर और लेस इंटरचेंजेबली यूज होता है, बट देयर समथिंग कॉल्ड केस डिस्कशन ऑल्सो एंड देयर समथिंग कॉल्ड जीडी ऑल्सो. इन अ इन ऑन अ डिफरेंट नोट, ग्रुप टास्क में क्या होता है? जनरली 8 to 10 पीपल ओनली, नॉट 12 to 14. एक टास्क दिए जाते हैं एंड यू आर सपोज टू कंप्लीट द टास्क. नाउ व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन अ ग्रुप डिस्कशन एंड अ केस स्टडी? बाय द वे, केस स्टडी इज ऑल्सो अ केस एंड यू हैव टू डिस्कस इट, राइट? सो इट्स अ ग्रुप डिस्कशन ऑफ अ केस. तो पहले तो केस स्टडी को बीच में लाता हूं. द डिफरेंस बिटवीन अ जीडी एंड अ केस स्टडी. टेल मी वन थिंग बिफोर आई गेट इनटू द आंसर. आई हैव अ क्वेश्चन फॉर यू. ये बताओ कि जीडी में कंक्लूजन होना चाहिए कि नहीं होना चाहिए? शुड वी रीच अ कंक्लूजन और नॉट? I'll wait for the answers. 3 people have said yes. ए मनीष में भी क्या होता है? ये मनीष अर्पण तुम लोग है ना, इसमें चले जाओ, क्या बोलते हैं, पॉलिटिक्स में. नॉट नेसेसरीली दिस. ओके. सो मोस्ट ऑफ यू आर सेइंग यस. वेल, फॉर वन, ग्रुप डिस्कशन में कंक्लूजन होना, कंक्लूजन की तरफ जाना चाहिए. कंक्लूजन होगा ये जरूरी नहीं है. व्हाट डू आई मीन बाय दिस? कंक्लूजन होना जरूरी नहीं है का मतलब यह होता है, सपोज कंक्लूजन कब होता है? टुवर्ड्स द एंड ऑफ अ डिस्कशन. I can't do a conclusion prematurely. Let's say five other people want to say their points, and I say, okay, then let us conclude. Then I'm wrong. I'm forcing myself on others. बिहेवियरली गलत हो गया ये तो, है ना? सो कंक्लूजन के लिए मुझे पता होना चाहिए कि 15 मिनट के जीडी में 14 मिनट हो चुके हैं, एंड नाउ आई थिंक आई कैन कंक्लूड. बट दैट यू शुडंट डू, बिकॉज देन यू विल बी वॉचिंग टाइम ओनली ड्यूरिंग, एंड दे विल बी ऑब्जर्विंग यू कि ये हमेशा टाइम देखता रहता है. ओके, सो कंक्लूजन हर बार पहुंचे वो जरूरी नहीं है, बट कंक्लूजन की तरफ जाना पड़ेगा, विच मीन्स द जीडी हैज टू मूव ऑन. एक ही पॉइंट पे अटके ना रहे, हम आगे बढ़े. यू मे समराइज इन बिटवीन, अब तक हमने ये डिस्कस किया, आगे लेट्स डिस्कस दिस, बट यू कांट, मोस्टली कांट कंक्लूड. बहुत रेयर केस में जीडी में कंक्लूजन तक पहुंचता है. बिकॉज कंक्लूजन क्या चीज है? एवरीवन हैज टू अग्री ऑन समथिंग. इफ यू से एक्स, I will have the last say saying, no, I don't agree with you, my friend. And X is not possible. So if you conclude X, you will, for the group, if you conclude for the group, I will say this is not my agreement. और मैं तेरे को लेके डूब जाऊंगा. On the other hand, case study is a task. It's a group task. So any group task or group exercise or case study has to reach a conclusion or solution. It is an activity to be done by that group and come to a conclusion or solution. Remember that. Okay. So what are the type of tasks given? For example, case studies are one kind of tasks. Decision making scenarios, क्रिएटिव प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग. तो लिटरली एक माइका का एग्जांपल देता हूँ ग्रुप टास्क का, कि वो पता है क्यूब आता था बचपन में, खेला होगा शायद क्यूब. उसमें अलग अलग ब्लॉक्स होते हैं, एंड यू आर सपोज टू फिक्स दोज ब्लॉक्स, टेढ़े मेढ़े ब्लॉक्स, सच दैट इट फॉर्म्स एन एग्जैक्ट क्यूब in that box. Now they are given a full life size big cube with life size big blocks, and physically you are supposed to set it up as a group of 6 7 individuals and form that cube. Nothing, no one teda part should be sticking out, so it should form a proper cube. Now this is a kind of task also. Then there are other tasks like creative problem solving में, जैसे save girl child या whatever issue you take, उस पे एक campaign बनाओ. Yeah, I will give you a product called swoosh, random name, right? Swoosh, and you make a ad campaign or marketing campaign out of it, right? So those kind of tasks of problem solving have also been given. Prioritization tasks, 20 to 30 minutes are given for this. Generally 20 minutes होती है, 30 minutes कम ही होती है, 20 minutes तो मिलती ही हैं. ठीक है. Okay, now let's talk about case discussions. So again, types of cases could be business problems, you're solving business problems, or marketing strategies, or operational challenges, or ethical dilemmas. These are the four types of cases that you might face, right? Going forward, extempore. So extempore is where it is done in FMS, it is done in TAPME, it is done in couple of other colleges, right? So extempore mein you are given 1 or 2 minutes to prepare, or sometimes not even 1 or 2 minutes to prepare, and you have to speak for 2 3 minutes, right, on a topic given. So I'll give you an example. In Shillong, we had this break a leg. This is a topic you have to speak on the spot. Break a leg. If you know what break a leg means, break a leg means get into a dance. That's one of the meanings it has, but it's a abstract topic, so you could you want it to mean the way you want. Okay. Opinion on the lines of India going digital. So this is IIM Indore ka extempore. What are your opinions on India going digital? Okay. So these are some examples of real life cases, extempore, sorry. Okay. Now let us move on to the next part. Sir, VAT में या GD में या case study में, what if I don't have the content? What if one topic I don't know और वही पूछा गया? हो ही सकता है, सबके साथ हो सकता है. The smartest of you might face a problem with some topic somewhere. What do we do then? So this is the pestle approach. Okay, pestle approach क्या होता है? अगर मुझे टॉपिक दिया है, जैसे कि नरेंद्र मोदी is he a good prime minister or not? Let's take that example forward. So let me think politically वो कैसे हैं. ठीक है, I am a Modi supporter by the way, just declaring publicly. But I did not like the interview, the talk that he had with Rajat Sharma 2 days back. If you've seen that, he was asked big questions कि आप ग्लोबली कैसे रिलेशन हैंडल करते हो, आप ये कैसे करते हो, आप वो कैसे करते हो. He had a platform to talk about big things, but every question he answered by saying कांग्रेस ने 70 साल में कुछ नहीं किया. Now, this is a political point that I have. If I were to write about Narendra Modi, I would say he doesn't see beyond Congress, or he plays victim in a way by always quoting Congress for all the lapses that have happened. As a prime minister, it doesn't behove him to do that. So that's a point. अब मेरे पास कोई पॉइंट नहीं था तो मैंने पॉइंट जनरेट कर दिया. इकोनॉमिक फ्रंट पे क्या किया है उन्होंने. सोशल फ्रंट पे कश्मीर का फेस चेंज कर दिया. ब्यूटीफुल. कोई पत्थर नहीं मारता आज. टेररिज्म कम हो गया है. सोशल. टेक्नोलॉजी. DRDO became strong, ISRO became strong under Modi rule. Very good. तो पॉइंट्स है मेरे पास. एनवायरमेंटल. लीगल. सो लीगल में आई कुड टॉक अबाउट गोधरा कांड, or I could say that he was given a clean sheet by the SIT and the courts for the Godhra riot debacle, right? So you generate points by thinking political, economic, social, technological, environmental, legal. And then there are three more to this. I call it PESTEL CHM. CHM. Calcutta, Hyderabad, Mumbai. So it stands for, sorry, Calcutta is वैसे तो K now, but ठीक है. CHM means culture, humor, media. Has anything cultural being associated with that topic? Is there something humorous I can say without insulting it? And did I read last something about media? So actually मैंने यहाँ पे पेस्टल CHM में से M यूज किया. When I said I saw Rajat Sharma का show live this thing 3 days back, and this is what happened. That point came from M, media. I read something or saw something somewhere, and I talked about it. So you can bring out your points using a pestle CHM approach. Okay. Going forward. अच्छा, अब हम लोग है ना इस सेशन का एक पार्ट पूरा एंड कर चुके हैं. ओरिएंटेशन. अब ओरिएंटेशन के दूसरे पार्ट में चलते हैं. सो सम ऑफ यू वर आस्किंग मी दिस, शुड आई टेक कैट अगेन. कुछ क्वेश्चंस मैंने देखे थे, मैंने बोला था बाद में आंसर करूंगा, लेकिन अभी अभी रुक जाओ. ठीक है, नो हरी. कैट अगर लेना है 26 का, पहले बाकी एग्जाम्स खत्म करो. नॉन कैट एग्जाम्स, ओमेट्स, वॉट एवर यू कॉल इट, राइट. स्नैप, एनमैट एंड जैट, मे बी सीईटी, सीमैट, मे बी वॉट एवर. कंप्लीट दोज. इन द मीन टाइम फिल द राइट फॉर्म्स. सही वाले फॉर्म्स भरो. अभी भी फॉर्म्स ओपन हैं काफी. ओपन योर सेल्फ. फिल अ लिटिल एक्स्ट्रा इफ यू हैव टू. स्पेंड सम मनी. गेट दोज कॉल्स. वर्क ऑन देम. ट्राई टू कन्वर्ट देम. अगर बिल्कुल ना गवारा है कि दिस इज बिलो माई वर्थ कंप्लीटली, देन यू गो फॉर कैट 26 इन जनवरी. वंस यू हैव टेकन योर, एटलीस्ट स्नैप हो जाने दो ढंग से. जैड भी हो जाए तो अच्छी बात है, बट एटलीस्ट स्नैप हो जाने दो. ठीक है. एंड पीडीपी प्रिपरेशन इज अ मस्ट, बिकॉज अगर सही फॉर्म्स भरे, बार बार बोल रहा हूं, तो कॉल आएगा. और कॉल आएगा तो यू डोंट वांट टू बी कॉट अनअवेयर्स. A lot of people wake up in March and say, सर मेरा नेक्स्ट वीक एक मौका, ये इंटरव्यू आ गया है, अभी अभी मेल आया. दैट ऑल्सो हैपन्स. ओके. सो आई यूज दिस सॉर्ट ऑफ एन अप्रोच कि भाई एक, अगर बहुत लो परसेंटाइल है, ठीक है, तो बाकी एग्जाम्स के थ्रू क्या वो बढ़ सकता है. कैन आई इंक्रीज बाय जैट और बाय पॉसिबिलिटीज, राइट. अगर डिसेंट परसेंटाइल है तो क्या मैं फॉर्म फिलिंग से ही उसको ढंग से कर लेता हूं. अगर मेरा केपेबिलिटी है और प्रिपरेशन लैकिंग है, इफ आई एम केपेबल बट माई प्रिपरेशन वॉज लैकिंग एंड हेंस आई एम नॉट गेटिंग अ गुड बी स्कूल, देन आई माइट टेक वन मोर ईयर कैट 26. कि सर मैं और बहुत कर सकता था, मैंने नहीं किया है, अगली बार करूंगा, और मेरे में वो डेडिकेशन है कि मैं अगली बार कर लूंगा. तो गो अहेड. ठीक है. ओके. By the way, this is just an information for you or for your friends that टेस्ट सीरीज सीएल की लॉन्च हो चुकी है फॉर कैट 26. जस्ट informing. Okay, now talking about non-CAT readiness. In case you need help with your ZAT, you have a lot of things happening. I'm just going to open this up. So there are non-CAT online classes, non-CAT test series. DM का भी एक कोर्स, रिडक्स कोर्स है, DM रिडक्स, right? Which is again done by GP, Jijo, and all of us, right? Online classes जो हैं ZAT के, that is available for 999 only, right? And Z का test series for 399 rupees. Okay, so go forward if you want to. Now let's talk about PDP again. PDP में माई जोन में कहां दिखेगा मुझे? सो आप सब, ऑल ऑफ यू कैन गो एंड चेक इट आउट. ऑल ऑफ यू विल हैव दिस इन योर. अनिरुद्ध, वही कर रहा हूं यार, तू मुझे थैंक यू. तू नहीं होता तो मैं क्या करता बेटा. अनिरुद्ध मुझे बता रहा है प्लीज वॉक थ्रू द पीडीपी पोर्टल ऑल्सो. ओके, नो ऑफेंस, जस्ट मजाक कर रहा हूं. ठीक है. सो लेट्स गो इन टू द माई जोन. ठीक है. सो वंस यू साइन इन, you see this PDP zone here, right? Where the arrow is pointing. So that PDP zone, once you get into that, you will see this. Now, what is this? Let me explain. So one, there is a PDP zone guide. The guide, just go through that video. I think it's a video, if I remember right. तो वो वीडियो में सब कुछ है कि कहां पे क्या चीज होनी है. इट इज एक्सप्लेन्ड इन डिटेल. एंड देन देयर इज एन इंटरव्यू गाइड कि इंटरव्यू के लिए क्या क्या फीचर्स हैं, हाउ टू बुक इंटरव्यूज, व्हाट टू डू, व्हाट टू नेविगेट, हाउ टू नेविगेट एंड सो ऑन. ओके, वो दोनों छोड़ दो अभी. लेट्स गो अहेड. नाउ यू लुक एट द फर्स्ट बॉक्स, हु एम आई. So there are two who am I boxes. One is who am I tests and one is who am I essay and questions. Now when you look at this, what is the who am I test? Self awareness के लिए, understanding yourself, introspection के लिए, right? There are these three tests. All these three tests do three different jobs. Okay, so before my session on 24th, which is personality one session, I want all of you, even if you've not taken PDP, you still can take this. ये तुम्हारे लिए है. आपने पीडीपी प्रोग्राम लेना जरूरी नहीं है इसके लिए, पर अगर आपने लिया है तो ये करना ही है. आई विल एक्सपेक्ट दिस. सो पर्सनालिटी वन का सेशन जो 24th को हो रहा है, आई विल बी डिस्कसिंग पीई, लोको एंड बिग फाइव टेस्ट एंड हाउ टू अंडरस्टैंड पर्सनालिटीज किस तरह से शेप होती है, तुम कैसे प्रेजेंट कर सकते हो, हाउ टू डू पर्सनल ब्रांडिंग. दैट इज व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट. Okay, so make sure that you take these tests and go through the analysis of it. Okay, so PE, Loco, and Big Five tests, the three psychometric evaluations. Then comes the second box, which is who am I, essay and questions. There are essay that you write about yourself, that's your introduction and everything about yourself. And 12 questions which are asking specific questions. What are your short-term goals, long-term goals, achievements, ये वो 12 question है. Please understand, any call that you will get and the B school asks you to fill the form, uske most answers will come out of these. So you will be prepared for it. और तुम्हारा मेंटर जो है पीडीपी, अगर तुमने ज्वाइन किया, वो मेंटर चेक भी कर लेगा. ये तुम्हें फीडबैक भी दे देगा, तुम हाइटरेशन भी कर लोगे, तुम एआई के द्वारा भी चेक कर लोगे. उसी में है एआई इनसाइड दिस. सो मेक श्योर यू डू दिस. The third box that you see is my sessions, where all your sessions are listed. Right, so for example, this is an example of last year. Orientation to PDP was on 13th. This time it is on 11th. Right, so around the same time. Then in the fourth box is my interactions, which means your interviews, your interactions with your mentor. So there is past interactions. If you've had 2 interviews, that's past interactions. If you have upcoming interviews, that's upcoming interactions. And lastly, the fifth one is most important. Like who am I test, this is also to be filled up. Your profile. Your mentor can only help you if he has the complete idea about your profile. There are 10th, there are 12th, there are work ex, there are education, all of that. So make sure your profile is completely filled up. That's a pre-requirement. As a mentor, suppose I am your mentor. If I am your mentor, I will not be able to help you if I don't have both the who am I things and the profile. So first, second, and fifth box, if you've not filled up, I will not be able to help you enough. Okay, because I won't have enough information. Okay. So let's get into this quickly. So ये इस तरह के tests हैं तीनों, right? So 360-degree understanding of yourself. Okay. So most of these are psychometric. Psychometric मतलब you choose the best answer for yourself. Acha, by the way, when you take this psychometric test, please understand, Don't try to fill it up as how you think you should be. You fill it as how you are right now. Exactly. Don't worry about people judging you. No one's going to see this except you and your mentor. So don't worry. Okay. This is very similar to what माइका, बाय द वे माइका देने वालों, ये माइका का अगर आपको प्रैक्टिस करना है ना तो दीज टेस्ट विल बी गुड हेल्प टू यू. ठीक है, बिकॉज माइका में साइकोमेट्रिक इवेल्युएशन होता है. Okay, the second box, let's see who am I, the essay and questions. Look at this. On the left, top left, you have who am I essay, the autobiography as I call it. Right? So there's an analyzer. So नीचे आपको जाओगे ना, तो you can use the AI analysis also, and that will give you a detailed analysis. Similarly, on the bottom right, you have the 12 questions. As you can see, educational background, work experience, and so on. So 12 questions हैं. Again, there's an AI analyzer there. Okay. The third I've explained, it's the sessions that are going to come up. All your knowledge sessions, all your PDP basic sessions, all your form filling sessions, all three kinds of sessions will be here. So please keep watching this space. Your interactions with your mentor, ये temporarily mentor का example दिया हुआ है. She's not a mentor, by the way. Okay. Okay. Now let's get into the interactions. So for example, Sazil has taken the first interview for this student. So let's assume this is your interview panel, right? So पूरा डिटेल्ड फीडबैक आप देख सकते हो. आप पूरा जो डिटेल्ड फीडबैक मैं एंटर करूंगा आपके लिए, पूरा रिकॉर्डिंग देख सकते हो. उसमें इंटरव्यू के नोट्स जो आपने नोट्स लिए हैं अपने लिए ड्यूरिंग द इंटरव्यू in the screen that you can take down. So all of these things and interview का summary, एक transcript is also available. So हर interview का ये सब कुछ available है for future reference. So before the second interview, if you want to see the first ka feedback, you can go and check these things. No one has this kind of a structure in their interview uh, tools, right? The AI SOP builder, VAT analyzer, interview ka ye wala panel, right? All of that. Then upcoming slot interactions के लिए either the mentor can plan for you or you can request the mentor. So you look at request PI on the top corner. एक ऑरेंज कलर का बटन है रिक्वेस्ट पीआई. सो यू कैन रिक्वेस्ट योर इंटरव्यू कि सर मुझे इस दिन पे इंटरव्यू चाहिए. यू कैन डू इट थ्रू दिस, यू कैन डू इट थ्रू टेलीग्राम मैसेज कि सर आई वांट एन इंटरव्यू. ठीक है, तो कंफर्म हो जाएगा तो यहां पे आ जाएगा कि व्हाट इज स्लॉट कंफर्म फॉर यू एंड सो ऑन. ऊपर देखो बुक स्लॉट्स, ओपन स्लॉट्स, रिक्वेस्टेड पीआई स्टेटस, ऑल द इंफॉर्मेशन इज देयर फॉर यू. ओके. And finally, as I told you, the most important thing is your profile. So you have to update your call letters, call date. तो mentor को समझ में आ गया तेरा इंटरव्यू प्लान करना है मुझे, right? All of that. And finally, this is an important part. Power PDP session. So these are all resources. Okay. Please understand कि ये 5 boxes जो मैंने दिखाए थे ना यहाँ पे, ये जो 5 boxes, इन 5 boxes के नीचे resources हैं, which looks like कहाँ गया? Which looks like this. Okay, just a sec. This. So इसके अंदर आपके सारे यूजेबल रिसोर्सेज हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल पावर पीडीपी सेशंस. सो ये पास्ट ईयर के रिकॉर्डेड सेशंस हैं. जैसे मैं अभी ले रहा हूं ना वैसे लास्ट ईयर का सेशन भी है. तो ये पास्ट ईयर के सेशंस हैं कुछ कुछ. उसमें वैट के रिकॉर्डेड सेशंस बाय जीजो इज ऑल्सो देयर, राइट. देन देयर इज समथिंग कॉल्ड व्यू एक्सपीरियंसेस, विच मीन्स कल उठ के आपको मान लो IIM कैलकाटा का कॉल आया, you can go to this view experiences and you can search PI experiences by the name of IIM Calcutta and actual PI transcripts and audio recordings. So there is a view experience and there's a listen to the experience. तो listen to the experience जो है वो हमारे audio recordings हैं और view experience है वो उनके actual interviews हैं IIM Calcutta के. So you can look for IIM Calcutta, SP Jain, whatever. You can look at those things and find interviews. You can look at the VAT GD topics. You can look for case studies. You can look for Bodhi tree for support. Go through all of this. Thoda thoda. Then there's something called share experiences. Like someone has shared experience that you are viewing कि मुझे IIM अहमदाबाद का इंटरव्यू देखना है कैसा था, वैसे तुम भी तो शेयर करोगे ना, तो शेयर एक्सपीरियंसेस. देन यू हैव PDP ऑनलाइन सेशंस. तो ये पीडीपी ऑनलाइन सेशंस, ऑल योर प्रीवियस रिकॉर्डिंग, जैसे ये सेशन रिकॉर्ड होके यहां चला जाएगा, तो यू कैन व्यू इट, लुक एट दैट, ऑल द रिकॉर्डिंग्स ऑफ ऑल द सेशंस विल बी फाउंड हियर पीडीपी ऑनलाइन। इसमें ऊपर देखोगे तो यू विल हैव डिफरेंट पार्ट्स, कंसेप्ट सेशन जो अभी हो रहे हैं वो कंसेप्ट सेशंस हैं, फिर नॉलेज सेशंस होंगे, फिर कुछ और होगा, सो वैसे करके फॉर्म फिलिंग सेशंस होंगे, सो ऐसे करके अलग अलग है। ठीक है। देन रीडिंग मटेरियल, रीडिंग मटेरियल इज अ लॉट ऑफ रीडिंग मटेरियल, सो पर्सनालिटी, जीडी, वैट, पीआई, एडमिशन प्रोसेसेस, जीके के टॉपिक्स, ये सब कुछ रीडिंग मटेरियल है। बी स्कूल फॉर्म फिलिंग, यू विल बी फिलिंग फॉर्म्स फॉर अस टू चेक। तुम्हारा आई एम लखनऊ का कॉल आया, तो तुम लखनऊ विल सेंड यू अ फॉर्म like the 12 questions we answered, but it will have its own questions. You will fill that up, that will come to me to check. I will check it and I will respond back to you, and you can make the changes before you fill the actual forms. So we will help you with the form filling here, the SB school SOPs as we call it, right? Then you have VAT analyzer. I told you, you write a VAT and as a mentor can allot you tasks. I will tell you कि भाई 3 मिनट का इंट्रोडक्शन इस डेट तक प्रिपेयर कर लेना, so you will get it in your tasks. Am I audible, guys? Aishwarya, what do you mean by it is saying paid service? What is saying paid service? So if PDP is not a part of your program, a lot of these things will be locked. अगर आप पीडीपी में एनरोल नहीं किए हो, ठीक है? ओके, सो माय टास्क, लेट्स लुक एट माय टास्क, सॉरी। सो हियर फॉर एग्जांपल सबमिट दिस ऐसे, लेट्स से पल्लवी नाम की मेंटर ने आपको असाइन किया है, आपको 4th को असाइन किया, 19 दिसंबर को सबमिट करना है। सो दैट इज व्हाट उसका स्टेटस, पेंडिंग है, कंप्लीटेड है, चेक्ड है, क्या है। सो ऑल ऑफ दिस is going to be there. My documents, so you will submit documents, your CV, resume for checking, other things. So you can submit your document. Your mentor can submit document to you also, and vice versa. So with that, thank you. I'll take some questions still. I have some 6 7 minutes to go, right? अब मेरे को पीछे से क्वेश्चंस लेने दो, रुक जाओ। हाउ इज पर्सनल मेंटरशिप सेक्शन इन माई जोन डिफरेंट फ्रॉम पीडीपी जोन? यार पर्सनल मेंटरशिप जो था ना, आई थिंक यू आर अ ब्लैकी स्टूडेंट निरुद्ध, पर्सनल मेंटरशिप हैज बीन टेकन फ्रॉम द पीडीपी फॉर योर पर्सनल मेंटरशिप। सो अब तक आप अगर जीपी से या शिवकू से किसी से कनेक्ट हो रहे थे ब्लैकी बैच में पर्सनल मेंटरशिप के लिए, तो दैट वाज अ इंटरेक्शन विच इज सिमिलर टू व्हाट इंटरव्यू इज। नाउ यू विल बी यूजिंग पीडीपी जोन। I hope I'm clear about this. When can we find the option payment, sir? Yeah, go to the CL website and search for PDP programs. उसमें दो programs है largely, PDP personalized and PDP planned, which are online. And there's a similar PDP planned offline also. You can take that as a center से जाके बात करो अगर ऑफलाइन चाहिए तो। ऑनलाइन मेंटर्स में अगर हम लोग से कराना है तो यू कैन टेक इट ऑनलाइन, right? So that is how it is, right? Nothing is better or worse. All mentors are no CL standard, so no problem at all, right? Sanmit, 4 मॉक इंटरव्यूज आर इनफ तू पूछ रहा है, मैं बोल रहा हूं कि यार 3 इंटरव्यूज आर इनफ, 4th हमने रखा है ताकि इन केस किसी को जरूरत हो, एंड इफ यू हैव इनफ इंटरव्यूज यू वांट अ 5th वन, no, you, it's between you and your mentor, that can be done. Okay, so don't worry about it. ऐसा कोई नंबर, that's a minimum number that you must do. मैं वही बोल रहा था कि यार बहुत सारे बच्चे हैं ना मेरे मेंटीज, बुला बुला के थक गया, 3rd 4th इंटरव्यू के लिए नहीं आए थे, और कुछ बच्चों ने 6 6 इंटरव्यू भी लिए हैं। सो चिल, डोंट वरी अबाउट इट। Gautami, reach out to support@careerlauncher.com and they'll help you. So anyone who wants to purchase or has query about their PDP का मेरा कोर्स है कि नहीं है, आई एम राइटिंग द email ID, you can reach out to that. Okay, ऑफलाइन स्टूडेंट तुम्हारे तो ऑलरेडी इंक्लूडेड है कोर्स में। तो ऑफलाइन स्टूडेंट डोंट नीड टू वरी। ओके, तुम्हारा सेंटर तुमको सर्विस करेगा, ये ऑनलाइन सेशंस आपके लिए भी होंगे, सो डोंट वरी। यस अरुणब, यू कैन रीच आउट टू जीपी इफ ही इज ऑलरेडी योर मेंटर, यू कैन टॉक टू हिम। बात कर सकते हो। आई हैव ऑलरेडी स्टार्टेड टॉकिंग टू माय मेंटीज। देर इज नो ऑप्शन टू बाय पीडीपी। ऐसा नहीं हो सकता बेटा अभिज्ञान, बहुत लोगों ने खरीद लिया है। तो आप एक काम करो, support@career launcher पे रीच आउट करो, या मुझे पर्सनली मैसेज करो इफ यू वांट टू बाय। आई लीव माय फोन नंबर हियर, माय नेम एंड फोन नंबर आई एम लीविंग हियर, सो यू कैन मैसेज मी ऑन व्हाट्सएप। ओके। सो रचित, which course are you a part of, Rachit? Ravi, if you are a classroom student, can you also put me a message on this? If you are not able to access, मैं लाइव, if you are a classroom student, you should be able to access, by the way. So अगर नहीं एक्सेस कर पा रहे हो तो मुझे एनरोलमेंट आईडी के साथ मैसेज छोड़ दो, मैं चेक करवा लेता हूँ। मैंने मैसेज ऊपर, मेरे नाम ऊपर ही छोड़ा है, फोन नंबर, प्लीज चेक इट आउट। मेधा डोंट वरी, राइट, वी विल चेक इट आउट। अच्छा, सो ऑफलाइन में क्या होता है, कुछ कुछ चीजें ब्लॉक्ड होंगी, जैसे कि ऑनलाइन इंटरव्यू ऑफलाइन वाले को नहीं होगा ना, क्योंकि तुम तो इंटरव्यू ऑफलाइन करोगे, राइट? सो मेधा डोंट वरी इफ दैट इज लॉक्ड, सो सेंड मी अ मैसेज व्हाट इज लॉक्ड विथ योर एनरोलमेंट आईडी एंड आई विल चेक इट आउट। What is Bodhi tree? I don't know if you guys know Srini, right? Srinivasan, who is one of the directors of CL, an old timer, right? He has a blog, a website, if you may, a portal where there are a lot of interview experiences, there's a lot of interaction. So there's a lot of stuff there. So you can just check it out. Okay. So support at the careerlauncher.com को reach out करो if you have a doubt, if you can't see something, right? So see you there. Uh, I'll reshare my number since a lot of, तुम लोग नीचे जाके देख भी नहीं पा रहे हो क्या? अच्छा, मैंने होस्ट एंड पैनलिस्ट में डाल दिया है, सॉरी, माय बैड, आई पोस्टेड इट रॉन्ग, हियर इट इज, हियर इज माय नंबर। डोंट फ्लड मी विथ कॉल्स राइट नाउ इन द नाइट, यू कैन सेंड मी मैसेजेस, वी कैन टॉक टुमारो ऑल्सो। ओके, fine, guys. Have fun. Thank you so much. Please note the number so I can no call keep take this call off. Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope you guys had fun. Just give me a yes, no. Was it useful? All right, cool. Thanks, buddy. Thank you, everyone. Good night.